Well, there we go. It's probably pushing closer to 11 o'clock at night. And already you can tell that it's not as dark as it used to be at 11 o'clock at night. At least from my view. I don't know. Maybe you can't see it from your view, but if I point it up at the sky, I could actually see clouds. You know, no stars. It's wind is strong, but there's still clouds. Yeah, and it will get lighter and lighter and lighter outside. I feel wonderful. I mean, it's actually 6 degrees above outside, if you can believe that. 6 degrees. You know, so it's a nice warm April evening. 6 degrees above zero. Wow. You know, in April. This is nice. You know, I kind of got to thinking about some of my non-video audio presentations. Well, one of the things I thought was, you know, it's been a long time since I did a house of prayer preaching, and I'm going to have to gear up for one of those while those trees are still there. It's getting dangerously close. You know, maybe next year my trees will be gone from my house of prayer. I'll have to find a new house of prayer. You know, the way they're taking the trees out here, wouldn't surprise me if they take out the trees where I like to pray. Wow. But the town's expanding. It has to. Lots of work up this way. But, yeah, that was one of my thoughts. Another one of my thoughts was, you know, I'm going to say it. I really do discuss a lot of controversial material because that's the sort of material that stands out in my mind and stands out in the minds of many people and, you know, annoys them. And I suppose that it could be interpreted as negative, you know, negative to what? Negative to people's peace of mind, negative to what? You know, see, I like to speak out negatively against things that are already negative. You know what I mean? Mathematics tells us that if we multiply a negative by a negative, we get a positive. Now, I'm not sure if that's how it works spiritually, but I know that God punishes evil, you know, and that results in a positive. But, you know, I believe in justice. I do. I also believe in mercy, and that's really important. Merciful judgment is quite the balancing act. Yeah, so I got to thinking, you know, a lot of my stuff is probably considered negative. And there's a good reason for that. You know, I mean, there's a lot of good things too. You know, today I had the honor of my cousin's son visiting me. And we got to talking. And it didn't take long for me to discover that he was a God-conscious person. I know that sounds real new age, eh? But if you're not God-conscious, if you don't retain God in your knowledge, in other words, you're doomed. And I rejoiced in, you know, this knowledge that my cousin's son was a God-conscious person. And I'm not just saying, you know, new age. I mean, he believed in the God of the Bible. Just checking my camera here to make sure it's operating as I walk down some of these snow-cleared streets. I have to be careful. There's lots of mud right now. And we got to talking about a few things. Now, he's a man now, and I dare say, he might even be pushing 30. Scary thought. But I remember when I was in my early 20s, seeing him in diapers. So, he probably is pushing 30, or maybe he is 30. I didn't ask, But if he is 30, he's awfully young looking for 30. It was good to see him. And I discovered that we share a few things in common. Yes, we're both God conscious, but the other thing that we share is that we are both the firstborn. There is some kind of a blessing with the firstborn. The head, the firstborn son that openeth the matrix. There is a blessing in that. There's also an obligation in that knowledge. And, the firstborn sons, especially if they really are the firstborn, the head that openeth the matrix, as Christ was and is. There's something to that. Anyway, we got to talking, and it was delightful for me to see that many of the things that he is pondering are things that I too pondered when I was his age. And, just to see that there's someone, and all my relatives, that actually really has spent that much time and devotion reflecting on the thoughts of God does my heart good. See, now that's positive. That's positive news. He was relating his experience when he was in Israel and things that he witnessed in Israel. That's right. He's been to Israel. And he surprised me. You have to understand, he doesn't know anything about me, hardly. But he's learning now. And in a low voice, he turned to me and said, and I'm not making this up, he said, God is not there. And I let him talk. I bit my tongue. I wanted to listen to what he had to say. He said, they really control where you go, what you see. And they'll take you anywhere on these tours, especially to buy more film of their sites. And he said he's been to all three Gardens of Gethsemane. Of course, each one of them saying they're the real one. And he went to all those sites, but then he took a detour. And he said, in the streets, there are young girls just sitting there on mattresses because they've been pushed out of their homes. They're Muslim girls, and they're homeless. And he said, I saw one, I don't think she was maybe 11 years old, trying to take care of a little baby. And the baby was crying and hungry. And he saw this girl catch a bug and feed it to her baby because she had no food. He said, you know, they're pushing all the Muslim people out of their homes. They're not giving them any place to live. They're just pushing them out. And there's no way you can tell me this is godly. You know, praise God. I know that's a sad story. I know some might say you're being negative. But I praise God that He gave my cousin's son the insight to see what's really going on in Israel. Israel is a godless country. Alright? With all its religiosity and all its arguments over religion, all its hate, all its wickedness, Israel is a godless nation. I hope he comes and visits me again sometime, because I'd like to tell him how God is going to purge Israel. That's in the Bible. It's not man who's going to do it. Don't worry about your atomic bombs. No. God will do it. I am faithful because God cannot lie. And He said He's going to purge Israel of her whoredoms. Because right now, that's all she is. Israel is a big, fat whore. That's what she is. Spiritually, ideologically, economically, politically, Israel is a whore. God bless you. God bless you. I hope you got something positive out of this message.